Many thanks for choosing us. JoyNews, your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has blamed only friends from the northern region for the gun attack on St. Francis Catholic Church in the town of Owu during yesterday's Sunday service. According to eyewitness, gunmen fired into the congregation and kidnapped a priest as well as some other churchgoers. No figures for the numbers killed or abducted in Sunday's violence have been confirmed. Reuters news agency quoted a doctor at a local hospital saying that several worshippers were brought in dead. Nigeria has experienced an upsurge in violence in recent months. The development has created quite some tensions in neighboring countries, including Ghana, with citizens appreciating the reality of threats of terrorism and how close it is to us. We'll be delving into that shortly, but first, let's go to Nigeria and get a sense of the situation and the aftermath. I've been joined by Nigerian journalist Babatunde Koika. I'm grateful for your time, Babatunde. Do we know the exact number of people killed in this incident?
Good morning, Aisha, and good morning to all your viewers in Ghana. As we speak, there is a conflicting number regarding the number of people who are dead. There's some say 35, some say more than 50. We don't have an exact number regarding the casualties. The people who are injured as well, we don't have exact figures regarding the number of people who are injured as well. And that, to be honest, has been the major, the major crux of this matter, of this particular attack. We don't know anything. We don't know who was responsible. We don't know the motive behind it. We don't know the number of casualties, the number of people dead. We don't know the number of people who have been injured. It's all a question of so much that we do not know. And just to correct some of the things that you said, the Catholic Diocese of Ondo State have come out to say very clearly that none of the clerics, none of their clergy was abducted. So we do not know whether it was members of the congregation who are abducted, but they've come out categorically to say that no member of their clergy, no member of the Catholic clergy in that particular church have been abducted.
Now, Babatunde, describe the area of the incident to us. What kind of place is it, and which group of people live there?
Right. Owo is a large town in southwestern Nigeria. It's a major town in the subdivision, political subdivision known as Ondo State. Now, Owo is mainly an agrarian community. It's the heartland of the cocoa industry. There's also major timber industry in that area as well. It's an area that's predominantly populated by the Yoruba people of southwestern Nigeria, and that brings a lot into question why exactly this particular town, this particular community was targeted. For those who do not know, always actually the hometown, the birthplace of the governor of Ondo State. And so a lot of people are thinking that this was not an isolated incident. This was not a random incident, that it was targeted to as a message. We're not sure whether it was a message to the governor or to the people of the community or to the Yoruba people of southwestern Nigeria. We're not sure. In 2001, I think in March 2001, the governor of that state signed into law a bill prohibiting open grazing by nomadic herdsmen. I believe also in Ghana, you've had tremendous issues regarding the conflict between herdsmen and farmers. And Nigeria has had this also for decades, over a century that it's existed, whereby farmers and herders, nomadic herders, have had conflicts regarding herders destroying farmlands. And so I think last year, a group of governors across the country decided to sign into law a law banning open grazing. Now, there's a lot of people are saying that this might be a retaliation for that law. But right now, as I speak, no one knows exactly the motive behind this attack.
Is this the first time something like this has been recorded there?
In the town of Owo, yes. But across Nigeria, no. We've had countless cases of violence, of terrorist attacks, and none of them we've not been able to find out exactly what's been the motive behind some of these things. In March this year, a passenger train was hijacked. 52 passengers were abducted. They've been kidnapped. They've been held at gunpoint. by these dastardly men of the underworld. And to the best of our knowledge, they have not asked for a ransom. Now, this is very key. They keep saying that the government knows what they want. The government have not come out to say that these are the demands that these gunmen are making of them. So we're not exactly sure what is going on. There have been so many incidents too recently whereby people have been accused of blasphemy and mob justice has been carried out against them. That one happened in Abuja just over the weekend. Another one happened in the northern state of Sokoto last month as well. So the issues regarding insecurity and violence has been tremendous all over the country. In the southeastern part of Nigeria, a proscribed breakaway group, IPOB, Indigenous People of Biafra, have also been, fingered in violence against civilians as well. Killings, mass killings, arson. It's just been, to be honest, the Nigerian state is walking on eggshells right now because nobody knows exactly where the next attack will take place. And this issue regarding security has been at the front burner of Nigerian politics for over the last half decade, and it will also be a major talking point in the upcoming presidential elections that are coming up next year.
So your President Buhari has been speaking. Why is he blaming a particular region for this incident?
No, Aisha, let me correct that statement as well. What he said in that statement is that those who are responsible for this attack are people from the nether region. Okay. Basically, he's saying that these are demons, these are devils from hell. He's not blaming any particular region for this particular attack. That's a mistake that you made right there. So he's saying these are agents or people from the nether region, not from the northern region. But it's instructive to note that the body language of the president of Nigeria regarding many of these attacks, the aftermath has left a lot of people disconsolate. When these things have happened, the president is always quick to offer his condolences, but you never see him arrive on the scene to look at what has happened, to offer condolences in person to the people. Because even yesterday, after this happened, the ruling party, the APC, which President Muhammadu Buhari is a major part of, also held another key caucus meeting. And a lot of people thought that was very, I'm searching for the words right now, but it was very callous. Considering the fact that a tremendous amount of people have died in violent circumstances, yet party politics continue to trump the lives and property in Nigeria. So that leaves a lot of people, disconnected from the government. They feel that the government really does not have their issues or their problems at heart, especially as it comes to regard security.
So what has been done since yesterday to shore up security in the area? Hello, Babatunde.
Well, Aisha, typically what we see an increased presence of police, an increased presence of the military. But what we really need at this particular point in time is not a police built. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Aisha? Hello? Hello?
Yes, Babatunde, you are still on Joy News.
Hello?
Yes, Babatunde, I can hear you loud and clear.
Hello?
There seems to be a problem with connection. Hello, Babatunde. Hello, Babatunde. All right, so Babatunde.
Yes.
Yes.
Aisha, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead, Babatunde, okay. We can hear you.
As I was saying, yes, what usually happens in the aftermath of these kind of situations is that you see an increase in military and police build-up in these particular areas. But what is particularly critical and that has been missing in this particular issue, in these particular cases, is the preponderance or the solidity or the quality of intelligence reports that help to nip these things in the bud before they happen, and also to help to track down to perpetrators and bring them to justice. So it seems as if the Nigerian state is always playing catch-up in these instances instead of being proactive and nipping them in the butt. To the best of my knowledge, the security agencies received no kind of information, no kind of intelligence report that this was supposed to happen, which shows that there's a failure of intelligence in Nigeria. So until this is really ramped up, the intelligence that can help to, do I say head of these kind of attacks?
Some of these incidents.
Exactly. To head off some of these attacks and also to help us bring the perpetrators to justice as swiftly as possible, then nothing will really change.
What's the mood in Nigeria generally as we speak?
Well, it's one of despondence. It's one of fear. It's one of severe health palpitations because, like I said earlier on, nobody knows where the next attack is going to take place. Nobody in a million years believed that a passenger train was going to be hijacked. Nobody in a million years believed that an airport was also going to be attacked. Nobody in a million years believed that a time will come in Nigeria where buses will be hijacked on the highway and passengers dragged off for kidnap and ransom. So it's quite tough times that we're living in Nigeria, mainly because of the security situation. As I speak to you, not even the Nigerian state can predict where the next attack is going to happen.
You spoke about how this threat has been around at least for the last half decade. What's your assessment of how the Nigerian government has handled this incident?
Well, to be honest, Aisha, the threat actually ramped up in the last decade, but it's actually been in existence for the last almost 2 decades. Boko Haram has been started an insurgency in the northern part of the country, the northeast. It spread to the northwest. It spread to central parts of the country. So it's been around for almost 20 years. We've been living with it. Children born in this generation now are born into a country that has been riven by insurgency. And to be honest, and to be fair, the Buhari government have spent more than any other Nigerian government in recent history in terms of purchasing arms and ammunition and weaponry, equipment to combat these things. They've bought fighter jets, they've bought armored vehicles, they've increased the troop mobilization to these spots, but it has not been enough. For the simple reason that the enemy that they are fighting is not a conventional army. These are splinter terrorist cells of a small division of people who are not willing to face tanks or in pitched battles. They are very light. They move around quickly. They disseminate information and funds very quickly and very surreptitiously. So the Nigerian state has to be more agile in combating this threat. It's a new kind of threat that they are not used to. So this really has nothing to do with military responses. It has to do majorly with intelligence. Like I said, if you have proper quality intelligence that can infiltrate many of these terrorists, bandits, insurgents, you can be able to track them. You can be able to nip their actions in the bud before they are carried out, and you can be able to track them down and apprehend them if and when they do manage to carry out these attacks.
Has there been a comprehensive, efforts or maybe a detailed intelligence exercise actually to try and understand what these people really want and whether the government can actually meet them halfway or, cut short their activities?
I understand what you're saying very clearly, Aisha. And for the normal person, it would seem like a fair question. But to be honest, Nigeria is not living in normal times. We don't really know what a lot of these people want. In the southeastern part of Nigeria, we know IPOB, the indigenous people of Biafra. What they are asking for is a breakaway state and their own indigenous homeland. We know what they want. In the northeastern part of the country, we do know that Boko Haram, they are trying to create an Islamic state in the northeastern part of the country. However, those are, groups that have well-identified ideologies and have made clear demands. But in cases like this, we don't even know what has happened. We talked about yesterday, allegedly 50 people were killed, over 50 people were killed, and countless others injured. As we speak, 24 hours later, we do not know the motive for that attack. We do not know who carried it out. We just know that it was a vicious, random attack by an unknown, faceless group of people. What they want, what they require, their demands are still unknown. But one thing is for clear, it was not an isolated incident, because this takes tremendous amount of planning, it takes logistics. They must have reconnoitered the area, found soft targets. And these are things, like I said, that are intelligence reports, an intelligence failure on the part of the Nigerian state. So until we begin to invest more in intelligence, I'm afraid to say that these things will continue to happen as we lead up to the presidential election. Because what this is doing is it's targeted at destabilizing the Nigerian state, destabilizing the Nigerian people, also causing misdirection. It's possible that they are doing something else, but they want to achieve another thing. So right now, everybody is living in a state of fear.
Definitely.
Because they are kidnapping clergy, they are killing lawmakers, they are abducting civilians. Everybody's a target.
And I can actually tell that from your voice that you're not living in normal times. But what's the long-term plan for the Nigerian government? Do they have one?
Well, I'd be a fool if I said, I'd be living in a fool's paradise if I said that there was one. On the surface, what they will tell you is that their plan is to beat back insurgency and eliminate it completely, to also beat back the breakaway separatists in the southeastern part of the country, and to create a safe and stable Nigerian society that can afford safety of lives and property for all citizens. But to be honest, all that is PR. All that is just political speak. All that is just, those are sound bites that sound good on the airwaves, on the pages of the newspaper, but they have not been matched or met with concrete action. And that is really is the problem. Of course, I'm sure that the service chiefs will have their own meetings. Of course, I'm sure that the police chiefs also have their own meeting. The National Security Advisor, the Directorate of State Security, all these security agencies will be having their own meetings, strategies, but unfortunately, it has not borne fruit. And the victims, the people who continue to bleed and who continue to be buried, are poor, unsuspecting Nigerian citizens. They are the ones who are bearing the brunt of this. And until something is found, until the government comes and shows that it really cares about the security of lives and property, it's going to be a major issue. And I believe it will be a key point in next year's presidential elections coming up, I think, in the first quarter of next year.
So is politics actually compounding the issue of insurgency in Nigeria? Is that what you think?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. A lot of people have actually come out to say that some of the sponsors of these terrorists are actually known politicians. Some people have actually, the late former CBN Deputy Governor, Melifia, he actually said that he met with some of these insurgents, and they told him point blank that some of these insurgents are bankrolled, funded, and supported by sitting Nigerian governors. It's on record. Wow. I'm not saying something that, I'm not pulling facts out of the air. These are things that people have said. So, and a lot of people have also fingered many of these politicians for use of his interests, and after the elections have gone, they cannot retrieve the guns that they have given them during the campaigning season, and these people now use these same weapons to turn on the populace for their own nefarious needs. I mean, just 25 years ago, the issue of kidnapping was pretty much alien to Nigeria. It first started in the Niger Delta, where restive youths were kidnapping oil workers in exchange for ransom, but it has now spread and metastasized into something that is a complete horror. But people will always tell you, those in the know will always tell you that at the root of everything are politicians who are hell-bent on destabilizing the Nigerian state or the local community for their own nefarious reasons. And when they do so, they unleash a demon that they cannot cage anymore on the Nigerian populace.
Babatunde, I'm grateful for your time. Stay safe whilst we actually pray and hope that the Nigerian government and by extension African governments would do something about this terrorism attacks. I'm grateful that you joined us this morning. Babatunde Koiki is a Nigerian journalist. But here in Ghana, some residents of the Techiniman municipality in the Bono East region are appealing to government to intensify its See Something, Say Something campaign to help create awareness and sensitize the populace on the need to stay vigilant with the lingering terrorist threats in the West African sub-region. With the Techiman Central Market attracting traders from neighboring Burkina Faso, Mali, Nigeria, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, and Niger, these residents say the municipality could be a target of these terrorist groups if measures are not taken to foil their possible entry into the country. Anas Sabit has more in this report.
Over the past few months, there is a heightened threat of terrorist attacks globally from groups or individuals motivated by several factors, and Ghana cannot be ruled out following a spate of terrorist attacks in neighboring countries and the lingering political and ethnic tensions at home. With the strategic location of the Techiman Central Market, which attracts all sorts of people from the entire country and other neighboring countries, we hit the streets to engage some residents about their fears so far as these terrorist threats are concerned. Murtada Mohammed is a resident and a tutor at the Al Farouk College of Education. He described the situation as worrying.
I listened to the news on Joy TV, and then a lot of people after that were commenting about it, and then it's something that is so worrying. It's a worrying issue. And everybody is so much alarmed in our community.
With Zongo communities being a hub for strangers from all walks of life, Murtada Mohammed calls on residents to be extra careful in dealing with strangers.
Zongo is a community where we have a lot of people coming in and then going out of the community at any time. We are not in the normal times. Therefore, now things have changed. So we have to also change our styles of kind of a relationship in the community. So the first time we come across strangers, we don't have to open up to them. We have to treat them as kind of a possible element of terrorism so that we can stay safe in the community.
Just like Murtada Mohammed, Christian Techijan, a resident and a banker, also expressed worry at the situation and noted that the location of the Techiman Central Market could attract attacks from these terrorist groups.
It's a worrying development because if you look at our neighboring countries, they've been experiencing it with the possible imminence of terrorist attack in Ghana. I think it's a very worrying news. It used to be abstract, but it is as close to us as just about Togo. So it's something that is quite worrying.
His major concern, however, has to do with the fact that the populace are not much alert about the situation at hand.
Some of us with our activity, always roaming in the market and checking people around, I don't really see that high alertness as far as the citizenry is concerned. On the institution front, yes, there is that high alert, but on the general citizenry and their everyday activity, you don't see anything extraordinary being done to curtail it.
Member of Parliament for the area who doubles as the Deputy Minister for Local Government, Martin J. Mensah-Kosa, called on the general public to report strange faces and characters within their various communities by adhering to the Security Ministry's See Something, Say Something campaign.
The very location of Techiman, its centrality, makes us more prone. The approach being adopted by national security is to involve all of us as citizens. We should open our eyes, we should be alert, very attentive, detect and report. It's been so rightly termed, See Something, Say Something. It's a campaign that involves everybody. We should all be watchdogs of our neighborhood. Look out for characters, whose identity, movements, presence raises questions.
He was, however, quick to add that residents should bear with the various security checkpoints at the entries in order to help identify such threats.
Satisfactorily, I think there is enough police presence at almost all those entry points, effectively policing and monitoring people who go in, who come out. And we'll just ask ourselves as citizens to bear with the police, especially in this crucial time where we are fighting this terrorism menace, so that we are all safe.
Both Murtada Mohammed and Christian Tichijan have suggestions on what needs to be done to ensure the people are safe.
The market is a very vast one, and the number of people that come in from outside is huge. So it's important that the sensitization exercise is done on a broader spectrum so that we'll be able to eradicate it.
I want to take this opportunity to kind of inform the imams that when they mount the podium or the pulpit at the mosque on Fridays, they should try as much as possible to include in their sermon these issues regarding educating the masses on how to protect themselves regarding this issue of terrorism.
Anas Sabit, Joy News, Techiman.
Now, some schools in Accra are sounding the alarm over an increase in cases of sore throats and other COVID-19 symptoms among students. According to a notice intercepted from one of these schools to a parent, there's a sharp rise in the number of students who report to the school sick bay with sore throats, cold and severe headaches. The school is asking parents to keep out of the schools such students until they are treated, and those who are brought to school will not be allowed in the classroom. Head of our health desk, Fred Smith, has joined me in the studio with details. Fred, let's see details, or share with me details of this letter that we've intercepted. Details, the names we cannot mention on air.
Yes, indeed. For weeks, we had heard that some schools were struggling to deal with rising cases of sore throat and other symptoms of COVID-19. Because we've lifted restrictions, many don't actually assign it to COVID-19, but we also cannot confirm if they are. But this school, for instance, sent this message out to parents that it's titled "Wearing of Face Mask." Management is pleading with parents to encourage their wards to wear the face mask, and the reasons that reports from the sector heads and the health officer indicated that there is a sharp rise in the number of learners who report to school and the sick bay sick with sore throat, cold and headaches. And sick learners must stay out of school and seek medical attention. That's the advice to parents. Learners brought to school sick will not be allowed in the classrooms to prevent infections to other learners and to prevent overcrowding at the sick bay. Parents who are called to pick up their wards have under 2 hours to do so. And they are asking for cooperation to ensure that this works.
Now, generally, there's data coming from the Ghana Health Service indicating that there's increase in COVID cases. What are the figures since May?
Well, it's not different from what the Ghana Health Service has been doing in terms of updates, except that for some time, since restrictions were lifted on the 29th of March, many people have relaxed and are not checking what's going on with COVID. In fact, our situation improved such that it was only 1 out of the 16 regions that had active cases.
Which is Greater Accra.
Which was Greater Accra at the time. As I speak to you, we have almost all the regions, we have 9 out of the 16 regions
recording
as we speak.
Cases again.
Yes, with active cases as we speak.
Wow.
Now we're seeing our active cases per the dashboard at 370 cases, and this wasn't the case in the month of April, when we had just about 25 cases on our hands. No severe or critical case. So it tells you that the cases are spreading, and if you're not careful, we will get back to the periods when our hospitals were full and some persons needing help were not able to get it because too many people had it.
Does the Ghana Health Service give indication of why, the cases could be rising? Has it got something to do with weather patterns?
Yeah, the data doesn't explain this, but we know that if you're not wearing the face mask, the risk of spread is high. So that could be one of the main reasons. And because also we've lifted the restrictions, many people think that COVID is gone. It isn't. And people are going about life as if we've never had the pandemic. We still are in that pandemic until the WHO says we're not.
Fred, is there indication of a new variant, or is actually the ones that we already know?
Well, we don't know about that yet, but we know Noguchi and Wagbib have been sequencing these new cases, and now that we've discovered it, it's rising, they may want to take a look at the variants and whether it is the old or is developed.
So what's the advice from Ghana Health Service, especially to school authorities and generally to the public?
We've not heard the advice, but of course it will definitely be to continue to wear the face mask, even though it is not mandatory. Keep your distance, I think 2 meters from other persons if you are speaking to them. Avoid crowded places, and keep your hands washed at all times, especially if you've touched some items, surfaces. You have to keep your hands washed to ensure that you're not passing on the virus to other persons.
Fred Smith is head of our health desk, and he's been sharing details of some information indicating that there may be possible rise in COVID-19 cases. We'll take a break on JoyNews desk. When we return, we'll bring you more. And welcome back to JoyNews Desk. For the rest of our stories, an 18-year-old has been confirmed dead at Tema in Accra when raging flood waters swept her into a storm drain. This follows almost 2 hours of Sunday morning downpour. According to residents, the 18-year-old tried to salvage the slippers, which fell into a small drain but fell, and subsequently raging water swept into a storm drain.
Oh, Mama! Oh!
This is Navi, mother of the 18-year-old Mary, who drowned in a drain at Tema. During Sunday's downpour, Mary went chasing after her slipper and slipped into the drain and breathed her last. Abigail is a relative of the deceased. She told me she called her children who were selling maize to come home when the rain started, but they never came. She later heard that one of her children fell into a drain and drowned. She was trying to remove her slipper that fell in the drain. Prince Enchi is an eyewitness.
One of the siblings was standing close to where the incident happened. She did not call anyone's attention to it. By the time we realized, she was caught under the flood water. There was nothing we could do. She was lifeless when we got there.
He says Mary would have been alive if the drain was properly constructed.
Straight. And on my corner, there are side. Into pressure no. About now, Babe Pim. There, Buafaso. And any problem I also had my high pa.
Navi is still in denial of what has happened to her daughter. Mary, I want to die in your stead. Please come back home.
Sani paton soma onumunso kakra. Mi banu anumunso.
For now, the body of the deceased has been removed by the police and deposited at the morgue. Emma Davis for JoyNews.
Mary, man, not the quality.
On the Tema motorway, drivers and commuters would have to brace for heavy vehicular traffic for the next 2 weeks at least. This is according to the Ghana Highways Authority, who are racing against time to fix some bridges on the entire stretch. Some of the bridges failed structural integrity tests and reconstruction on them and now deemed an emergency. Michael Ashale has more.
Gridlock on the Accra-bound section of the Tema motorway. portions of the road now laden with potholes.
Charlie, the traffic is too much on the motorway, right? Yeah. No, there's a lot of potholes on the way, so you have to do something about it.
It's a death trap.
Right.
Because look at it, you can't call this potholes. So you can't call these potholes, and we pay a tax, so they have to come and resolve it for us.
Many drivers usually ply this road on top speed, but not today, especially in the area around the abattoir. This bridge is one of many constructed along the highway to serve as a conduit for rainwater. Since it was constructed, the bridge has never been renovated, posing a danger to commuters. From above, the metal plates are exposed with cracks and potholes. Underneath, beams vibrate and some concrete layers have gone off, leaving the iron rods exposed. The Highways Authority has declared this bridge and others as a case of national emergency.
But it has begun to show some failures because the lifespan of the bridge, everything have a lifespan. So the lifespan of this bridge is done. You see, when bridge collapse, there's no option. When a bridge collapse, there's no option. So at the end of the day, if there's a bridge collapse, so when there's an emergency on a bridge, we take it as a national thing.
Aaron Amponsa is the lead engineer with the Ghana Highways Authority, asked to fix the bridge.
No, we are going to fix that. This is the most serious one. This one is okay. We have done checks and some tests, and this one is okay. It's not only this, we have about 3 or 4 on this stretch, but the most serious one is what we are. The work is in 2 sessions. We have what we call propping. We are going to prop. Then that is supporting the base. After we have supported the base, to have a very strong base. Okay. Then after that, we are going to break this concrete and replace it with a new one. Okay. So the first phase, which will take about a week, is propping of the under. Propping of the under. That is strengthening the under so that when we are breaking, we can have a firmer ground. So that's the first phase. Immediately we finish the propping, then the replacement of the deck with the concrete deck will begin. So that's what we are doing. And that will take about 2 weeks to finish this whole exercise. It's an emergency, so that's why we are working in the weekend. Tomorrow too, we will be here.
About 200 meters of the Accra-bound section of the road has been cordoned off to make it possible for workers to fix the bridge. On the first day, this resulted in a gridlock, leaving many commuters frustrated.
The traffic will be about from Tema roundabout up to here, traffic in to make much about this time the Emboa. And that's one by any daytime crowd on Sunday. About this time the traffic all Tema roundabout to so the by Piman. Easy, almost by 1 hour and the drive.
Death trap, so many years. Potholes now are very dangerous.
The road is very bad. The road is very, very bad. We are suffering in this road because they are not doing the maintenance. I'm passing here every day. The potholes and the things is very bad. So we are begging the president so that they fix the road for we. We are suffering in this motorway.
For some time now, it's very, very bad. The state of the road is very bad. The potholes are too much, and the fixing should be permanent fixing, not something temporary. Okay, it's fixed today. The next time it develops another potholes again. Okay, and secondly, the access from the other side of the communities around join the motor is really inconveniencing us. So something must be done about it.
But Aaron Amponsa says they have plans to deal with the traffic congestion for the next 13 days.
We were anticipating the traffic. Definitely, as I told you earlier, this is a national road. So when you are coming to do such work, you should expect the traffic. We have put in a traffic regulation measurement so that at the end of the day we will control. Yes, there's going to be traffic, but we are going to control. The actual work has not begun yet because when we go to the top, we are going to divert to the other lane, which we are going to do with a proper traffic management.
The Roads and Highways Authority is pleading with commuters to bear with them as they work round the clock to save the situation. For JoyNews, Michael Ashale.
We're still live on News Desk. We'll take a break and bring you business.
It's time now to do business with me, Beverly Broom. The Ahafo North Youth Coalition is appealing to aggrieved farmers and residents in the Ahafo North mining communities of the Newmont, Ghana, to explore available redress channels instead of the court. Over 200 project-affected people in the communities are in court to halt the operations of the company over the valuation of their properties and compensation differences. But the coalition believes dialogue is the best approach as the communities and the youth stand to benefit in development and employment. Precious Semevo has more in the following report.
Plaintiff Enoch Kofi and 128 others are at the Sunyani High Court seeking to halt Newmont Ahafo North mines from going ahead to value their lands and other structures and pay compensation subsequently. This is a result of trust issues in the valuer chosen by the Resettlement Negotiation Committee. However, the Ahafo North Youth Coalition says any attempt to delay the project will have far-reaching consequences on the communities and the youth, with about $850 million expected to be injected into the economy. They therefore appeal to the aggrieved individuals to explore the avenues available to resolve their differences to ensure that Tetre, Adroba, Susuanso, Afrisipa, and Yamfo are not denied the expected development and youth employment. Richard Adayebua, the second vice chairman of Ahafo North Youth Coalition, addressed the press.
We are disturbed by this development, and it has far-reaching implications and can impact the single most important economic intervention in the Ahafo North area as ever witnessed. We believe it will serve as a catalyst for community development, youth employment, and many opportunities for the youth in the area. Project development can have some social, economic, and environmental impact. But we believe that the best way of managing this impact is through healthy dialogue and not court injunction. That freezes the entire development. We therefore appeal to the individuals involved in this course action to bring their issues to the table for discussion, whilst paving way for the project development.
He further stated that while they will not watch for the activities of the mining company to negatively affect residents, they will also resist attempts to frustrate the process for selfish gains.
The coalition is passionate about this because of the impact of Newmont Ghana present in the area, even though mining operation has not started, including the award of scholarships, economic empowerment, employment opportunity, among others. Due to this impasse, all these benefits and the ongoing project of the various community has been put on hold. Whilst we will not allow Newmont Ghana Company to impact people negatively, we will also not compromise with anyone who would like to hold the project into ransom to the detriment of the youth, genuine farmers, property owners, and community members in the 5 Ahafo North community.
Precious Semevo, Joy Business, Tetre.
Commercial banks have no choice than to be circumspect in leading to the private sector to reduce possible high non-performing loans on their books as a result of the rise in inflation. According to the managing director for GCB Bank PLC, Kofi Adomako, interest rates are going up, and that requires managers to take a prudent decision on who to lead who. He told some journalists the situation is challenging, but believes it is for a short term.
Goes up, you see what happens. Interest rates go up. When interest rates go up, I mean the cost of borrowing increases. Okay, government paper are going up, interest rates are going up. Banks have to balance their portfolios, so the level of risk, like I said, then tightens. Okay, the kind of your risk appetite reduces because the chances of people working to pay back a loan at very high interest rate reduces. And as a bank, our business is about lending money. Taking money from people who have surpluses and lending to those who are who need the money. And so inflation, like we are experiencing now, is not too good for lending. It presents a challenge, no doubt.
Are you seeing interest rates going up? Policy rate has gone up?
Yes, interest rates are going up. I mean, in all the banks, GCB's rates are going up. It's a challenge we have to deal with because interest rates can go up so much. And we have to take decisions about who and how we lend. And that's what we are going through now. Okay? All right, thank you very much.
I was saying there was
That's all for business now, but we have more business stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com.
Time now for sports. Michael is here.
Aisha.
It's all about the NBA finals.
Yeah, we had a very, painful game for the Boston Celtics at dawn where they lost their series lead when the Warriors just went crazy, especially Steph Curry. I'm sure Ime Udoka and his boys are going to be a bit disappointed that they couldn't go and see out a second consecutive win versus the Warriors, especially when they took a very early lead in the first quarter. They were up by about 9 points in the first quarter till a series of costly 11 turnovers saw the Warriors come in and close out the game. Okay. And these turnovers have been the points, have been a tail for Boston Celtics throughout these playoffs. And then they had about 15 turnovers, and that's their third highest this season, where they played about 102 games. Against, I can't exactly remember the team, but against, I think, Miami Heat, they had 19 turnovers, and against one other team, I can't exactly remember the name, but they also had 16 turnovers. And this time they had 15, and they were really cruising, as I already said, in the first quarter till they had 11 turnovers. And then the Warriors took the game to them. But everything compounded for them in the third quarter, where the turnovers continued, and that is how the Warriors got back into the game. They took advantage of those situations whereby the Celtics couldn't complete their passes and they were having 40 passes, and they completed about 22 of their points from Celtics turnovers. And also, Steph Curry had a blistering game in that third quarter. He had 29 points in the game, and in the third quarter, he made 14 of those 29 points, sinking threes and doing what Steph Curry does usually. And so we are going to have the game 3 on Wednesday, and game 3 is a bit dicey because in the NBA Finals, 81.2% of the time, the team that wins that third game goes on to win the finals. And I don't know if the teams are aware of this, but considering the type of guys we have in the dugouts for the teams in Steve Kerr and Ime Udoka, I'm sure they'll be aware of this stats and they'll be raring to go in to get that third game win. But at the moment, the Golden State Warriors have lost their home court advantage. They'll be going over to the Celtics. And so Celtics might have that bit of edge because they played the last 2 games at the home of the Warriors. And since they won game 1 in the backyard of the Warriors, I feel they might have that sort of belief that they can go in and win game 3. And Tatum and his guys will be raring to go and they will look to make damage. But they have to look at managing their turnovers and make sure that they don't lose more of the possessions.
We'll look forward to that game on Wednesday. Wish them luck, and that'll be it for sports. That's how we wrap up News Desk this morning. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories.